Hey friends, Sarah here. Let's make some sourdough pancakes. Now, the first pancake recipe I'm going to show you is an overnight sourdough recipe. So I've got a giant bowl here. We want to have the biggest bowl that you can find because since it's going to go overnight, it's basically making a big starter. So we're going to start with 2 cups of flour, which is what I have in my bowl right here. And then I'm going to add to it 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now you can add whatever sweetener you prefer here. This could be honey, this could be brown sugar, this could be agave, whatever, doesn't matter. And then we're going to add, now if you have 2 cups of milk, whatever milk you choose, then add 2 cups of milk. I don't have 2 cups of milk, I only have 1 cup of milk. And a cup of water. Now I've made them this way before, it's totally fine. You're not going to notice. Cool. And now the last ingredient for our overnight portion of this is our starter. Now, how do you know when your sourdough starter is ready to use? Well, my starter, after I fed it the last time, yesterday, was here. And it grew up to here. And so that's how we know it's ready to use. Try to catch it if you can, not a big deal if you don't. Try to catch it when it's at its very peak. Then you can stir it down and add it to your recipe. Oh yeah, look at it, I'm so excited. Very bubbly. Very stringy. So this is a cup of starter. Now if you don't have a cup of starter, it's okay. I don't have quite a cup of starter. Now you don't want to use all of what you have, otherwise you're not going to have anything to feed again, and then you'll be all out of starter. So I'm going to leave what I have in here, which is probably about 2 tablespoons. So I'll feed it again once we're done here. And I have probably 3/4 of a cup of starter. Totally okay, it's not a big deal. So I'm going to put it into our bowl. We're going to mix it up. Pancakes are so great because it's an easy way to use up excess starter if you have it. And what's great about this recipe, since it's an overnight recipe, the flour is going to be completely inoculated with the yeast. Now, it sounds weird to say and weird to hear, but what's cool about that is that the flour is essentially partially digested, which makes sourdough breads and sourdough products more easily digested by those who have sensitivity to gluten. So if you have celiac disease, it's probably still not a good idea for you to eat bread of any kind that has wheat, barley, or rye in it. But for those of you who just have a sensitivity to gluten, or those 3 grains, then this is probably going to do you fine. And this might be the answer to your issue with finding breads or pancakes to your liking. So now I'm not going to worry about stirring this too much. There are some lumps, yeah, I don't care, it's not a big deal. What we're going to do is we're just going to put a lid on it. If you have a lid this large, if you don't, then just cover it with saran wrap. And then we're just going to let it sit out on the counter until tomorrow. Now you could do this the night before for sure, or for me right now it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'll just let this sit out until it doubles in size, and then I'll put it in the fridge overnight. It just depends on how fast you get to it. It's not a big deal, it's very forgiving. Now you could totally leave this out, so it's 3 o'clock right now, and I could get to it at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, and it could be totally bubbly and great. The longer we let it sit out, it's going to turn a little bit more sour. So again, not an issue, just something to be mindful of, and it's not going to hurt it at all. So what I'm going to do, I'll cover this with my lid, and I'll say goodnight, and I'll deal with it tomorrow. So, hey, almost forgot. We have to feed our starter. So once we use some or discard it, of course we have to feed it again. And so I just wanted to cover that with you again, just in case we've forgotten. But I've got probably 3 tablespoons of starter left in here. Remember, don't use up all your starter. You're just gonna have to start all over again. So, but anyways, I've got probably a quarter cup of flour. And I'll put as much water in as it takes. Again, we're just playing around with the texture here. I'll probably not add more than a quarter cup of water as well. Gradually, gradually. This is bottled water, so we've learned from our mistakes. And I like to use a spatula a lot too, because then that way we can kind of squeegee off the sides of the jars so that we can see how much it rises, and then it's good to go. So I've got a little bit of chunks in there, but that's all right. I'm just gonna mix it for another moment. And then I think that's good enough. So this is where my starter is right now, and it will tell me when it's ready, when it doubles in size. And if I want to keep feeding it so that I can make it bigger, I will just not discard anything else again. I'll just feed it again, and then we'll have more, and then we can do other stuff with it. So there you are.